The Blue Bloods of the USL Championship playoffs play host to the newcomers, Miami FC, as we begin the USL Championship playoffs. Tonight's match is brought to you by Spirit Airlines and Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Chris Whittingham, Devin Kerr for the Eastern Conference quarterfinal. Louisville entertaining Miami FC, and here is how the East looks. Louisville taking on Miami. They'll face the winner of Charlotte and Memphis 901. Birmingham Legion already through to the conference semifinals on account of a rash of COVID cases in the Pittsburgh camp, so Pittsburgh disqualified. Birmingham through. But Devin, it's Louisville who are top of the Central Division, and they clinched it last time out against Birmingham Legion.
What a dramatic fashion, too. 1-1-1 on the season series. You go back to the August 28th matchup. Louisville City head coach Danny Cruz says it's the only time this season that we had been outplayed. Conveniently, it's a 2-1 loss to Birmingham Legion. They get the hammer off their back. They get the Central Division title, and once again, they look at a number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference coming out of the Central, taking on the number 4 Miami. 6-time Eastern Conference finalists. Playoffs every single year, but still searching for that championship that has eluded him since 2018.
Yeah, back-to-back winners in 17 and 18. But let's dig into Miami FC a little bit. It's time for Ahead of the Curve. What do Louisville have in the way of opposition this evening?
Miami FC is so good about unbalancing you because they drop in and they play 2 10s, but not from the midfield. They drop a false 9 in. Pierre da Silva, Martinez, when they come through, they create options. This is an extremely condensed Tampa Bay Rowdy squad, but watch them spring to the outside. And then here comes the unbalance. The wingback loses shape, midfielder dropping in. You've got an outside back that loses the streaking run, and the next thing you know, you've got a 7v3 in your favor, and still Miami FC is able to stick it in the back of the net.
A couple of noteworthy changes for Miami that we'll get to in a moment, but first, it is time for Louisville's starting lineups presented by Hometown Pizza. It's unchanged from the team that beat Birmingham Legion last time out.
Why would you? As good as they were on the road at Birmingham Legion, a fantastic performance. You're going to want to get the ball into Lancaster, streaking Brian Ownby down into the final third, overlapping runs from Jonathan Gomez, but the balance on the back line for Sharpie Tosh, and how often do you create the two-pronged attack with both outside backs, sending Oscar Jimenez as well. Corbin Bone and Del Piccolo streaking through with comes down to your player to watch, Cameron Lancaster, 20 goals on the season. Shocking. He's been ridiculous in the final third as of late.
And he is indeed the player to watch, brought to you by Commonwealth Credit Union. Commonwealth Credit Union, bettering lives in the communities they serve for 7 years. To learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Cameron Lancaster, third in the USL Championship in goals scored with 20 on the season. Let's go ahead and get stuck into the starting lineups for Miami FC. 2 changes, and one of them is particularly noteworthy in goal. Jeff Caldwell, the emergency loanee, will be between the pipes.
You don't have Connor Sparrow, but you bring in someone like Jeff Caldwell, second in saves in the entire USL Championship, third in shutouts behind Elliot Panico and Evan Lauro, most who consider goalkeepers of the year. And Richie Ballard, this is a late scratch. Josh Perez out with an injury in training. Ballard to the front line. Let's see what they do with the two of them. If they're going to allow Ballard to float to the left at all, we know how good Francois is on the right. This is a team that loves to go in transition. We just talked about how good they are, Chris, at condensing a defensive shape, but they love to be free-flowing and play with a lot of greenery out in front of them.
3 former Louisville City players in this starting lineup for Miami FC. The playoffs begin in earnest. Coming up next, Louisville City plays host to Miami FC.
Flying from Louisville has never been easier or cheaper. Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has more low-fare flights and non-stop destinations than ever, including new low-cost flights to Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and 5 Florida cities on Spirit Airlines, and new flights to New Orleans, Charleston, and Tampa on Breeze Airways. You can now fly non-stop from Louisville to over 35 destinations nationwide, like Los Angeles, Fort Lauderdale, Austin, and Fort Myers. Learn more at flylouisville.com.
Commonwealth Credit Union has been ranked Best In-State Credit Union in Forbes magazine for a 3rd time. So come join us for our annual Member Appreciation Week as we celebrate our members who make all this possible. We're also excited to be expanding access for our University of Louisville and New Lou families with the grand opening of our New Lou branch at the Health Science Campus. It's all happening the week of November 1st with specials, cash back, and more all week long. You won't want to miss it because here, we see you differently.
It's Grandma. She got run over by a reindeer.
Sorry to hear that.
Insurance doesn't want to pay. They say she doesn't deserve a penny.
Don't worry, Santa. Our army of lawyers will slay them. You need your parking validated?
I'm up on the roof, so
Right.
You don't have to be famous to hire America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan.
Rally's has a new Pick 2 for $3 deal. Mix and match any two, from the Rally Burger, the Spicy Chicken Sandwich, the Crispy Fish Sandwich, or a Chili Dog for just $3. The Rally's Pick 2 for $3 deal. You've earned it. Get it delivered through our new Awards app.
About ready for kickoff of Louisville City and Miami FC in the USL Championship Eastern Conference Playoffs. Chris Whittingham, Devin Kerr here for commentary. Referee Elton Garcia gets us started. Louisville begin their march to a potentially 7th straight Eastern Conference final as they're home with Miami FC. Louisville arriving top of the Central Division, confirming their place as leaders of the Central by beating Birmingham Legion by 1-0 last time out. Antoine Openo getting the winner away from home. Louisville, the second most points in the East behind only the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Miami, meanwhile, surging in the middle of the year, able to cruise into 4th in the Atlantic Division, had their position sealed with a couple of matches to spare. They have what is perhaps the most difficult fixture in the USL playoffs, away at Louisville. Louisville have won 16 playoff games in their club history. Do it tonight at Lynn Family Stadium, where they have been absolutely sensational, particularly since moving to full capacity earlier this year. They have lost just the once at home. Jonathan Gomez picking it up on that left side. The trio in midfield, Niall McCabe, Paulo Del Piccolo, and Corbin Bone, all circling around the ball and halfway. Here is McCabe. Jonathan Gomez just clipped there. It'll be a free kick to Louisville. And Devin, we were talking earlier about the positional versatility of Niall McCabe and what he brings into that midfield.
It's pretty incredible that Mr. Louisville City, only retained member since the 2015 season, has literally played every single position on the field outside of goalkeeper. Maybe move to left back if Jonathan Gomez keeps that up. To have that in your back pocket where you've got someone that, to our conversation, Chris, you can move into the 8 and kind of slide him back and forth, create him as an alternative attacking midfielder, move him onto the front line, and then flick a switch, and he drops onto the back line. Help out shore up itself as you're trying to close a game out, or more importantly, go chase a goal, moving into a 3-back style system. The ever steady that has been in the Louisville crest for a ridiculous amount of years running now.
As Tosh is put under pressure, and Ariel Martinez is in behind him. Here's Martinez from Miami. Martinez still. Ariel Martinez, the Cuban, going for the chip, and he's just put it off target. But a danger sign for Louisville at the back, and Ariel Martinez, Mr. Miami FC, down the other end, nearly punishing them.
Just too nonchalant here by Tosh. Doesn't see Martinez, and a bit of flat of foot. Ball coming from Oscar Jimenez, gets caught off guard. Martinez goes to work. Look at the recovery on the backside. Well done here by Chris Hubbard to stand him tall and get a little help defensively. 9 times out of 10, that's 1-0 Miami.
Pushing him onto his weaker right as well. A huge moment early, and you saw the frustration when the Miami FC manager, Paul Dalglish. Great opportunity to get an early lead on the road.
And a gift as well, that was too, right? It's kind of one of those things that has been a little bit of an issue over the course of the season for Sean Tosh. It's that consistency of his performances getting you about 99% of the way there. And that's a bit nitpicky, but when that little 1% presents itself, it has been a switch off where it tends to get them into trouble. Fortunately enough for Lou City, nothing too scarred in that situation.
Oscar Jimenez. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. There's the 18-year-old Jonathan Gomez, who for a second time tonight, as his touch let him down. Certainly a big occasion for young Jonathan Gomez.
There's your answer, by the way, as to whether or not they'd keep Francois on the left or the right. They have moved Richie Ballard to the left. We've seen that both off the bench and just movement and sequences during the run of play in general. And they'll switch them as well as the half goes on. Cristiano Francois so good at pushing the tempo onto his right foot down into the channel at the same point in time, flip-flopping, cutting back to the interior, trying to go after that space behind the outside backs of Louisville City to see what they do in terms of consistency, Chris, how they are going to attack. It's a two-pronged force that you can use Oscar Jimenez or Jonathan Gomez to your advantage. At the same point in time, the amount of attacking options that Miami FC present themselves, you've got to be really careful to send them both.
Heavy coming together there between Corbin Bone and Pierre Da Silva in the middle. Louisville unbothered. There's a strike coming in there from Lancaster. Ombi trying to follow. Chapman Page doing just enough to guide it for the new Miami FC goalkeeper, Jeff Caldwell.
Nice little idea here from Oscar Jimenez. Just looks up and peeks and sees that Paco Craig is one-on-one with Lancaster. Lancaster, beautiful first touch. Gives him the opportunity that he can step on it after, cut it back across, or have a go. He chooses the latter. But to the great pickup that was Jeff Caldwell, you can see why he's second in saves in the entire league.
A remarkable story as Pierre Da Silva is being helped off for that earlier challenge in the center of the park. Da Silva has been really an introduction into the team last 2 years with Memphis 901. And here is a look at that challenge.
Notice the referee came over and had a couple of words, almost like he was fabricating what went on. Pierre Da Silva does take a knock. The difference is he actually slides in front of Corbin Bone. It's not Corbin Bone's fault whatsoever. There is still contact. Last I checked, Chris, that can still hurt, right?
And Da Silva will now be waved back on. It was interesting. It was almost Da Silva who was more the culprit in the challenge, but he's worse for wear. Here's Caldwell announced as newest keeper for Miami FC yesterday on an emergency basis. Connor Sparrow picking up an injury in training, leaving Miami short at the goalkeeper position. So it will be a goal kick. Caldwell, who was a regular starter for Hartford Athletic this season, kept 9 clean sheets. I mentioned Devin, one of the top in the league in terms of saves. He goes straight into the team.
Yeah, think about it. Number one, do you agree with it? The ability to go get that?
Well, I would have thought that Miami wouldn't have a reserve keeper on the bench, that it's a purely emergency basis. But Sparrow is available from the bench, starting 31 of their 32 matches for Miami, but in theory, if there is a hardship, you do need a keeper.
The other side of that is Miami FC has a tendency under Paul Dalglish to not even field a backup goalkeeper when they step into an 18. So he'll regularly go the 7 subs without an extra goalkeeper.
Lancaster there with the header on for Brian Ombi. Robert Baggio Casira getting involved as well. He was clipped, and it will be a free kick to Miami.
Chris, you run into that situation. If Sparrow is a game time decision, you obviously have to have some sort of backup, both literally and figuratively, right? So that's an easy move. Okay, you go get someone. I do think it's interesting that they stay within the conference and they go get someone who plagued them all season long. And Jeff Caldwell from Hartford Athletic. Talked a little bit about it in the open. Mentioned it already, that second in saves in the entire championship and 9 shutouts, trailing just Elliot Panico from Austin.
Da Silva with a good ball in behind in towards Richard Ballard, but Tosh there covering against his former teammate. And away there from Chris Hubbard. Lancaster on there for Gonzalez. Referee awarding a free kick to the home side.
Evan Laurel from the Tampa Bay Rowdies. I do think it's interesting that you can't use that rule for a field player. So you kind of wonder, whether it's correct or not. I side with it. I'm with you. You've got to have coverage, right? And more importantly, in a game of this importance, you've got to make sure that, look, all of that hard work has been done all season long for it to be ruined by the fact that you don't have proper depth. It's not your fault. Silvestri's injured. One of their backups as well, Zamudio, not available.
Here is the player they call Jogo, Jonathan Gomez. In his final games here with Louisville before departing to Spain. Go to La Real Sociedad, Spanish club. Ownby now taking on Robert Baggio. Doesn't quite get full breadth of the cross away as Baggio getting the tackle in. And flipped up towards Martinez. Strong header through there from Gomez, but Akinyode able to receive. It will be a free kick. I'm going to bring you our keys to the game. They're powered by the Kentucky Lottery. Devin, what do you have for us?
Let's just start with the home squad. Brian Ownby getting him out in space, putting the ball out in front and challenging the shape defensively as Miami FC continue to move their line forward. But make sure, as we talked about already, that the outside balanced backs of Jonathan Gomez and Oscar Jimenez still exist, that you don't overcommit. You have to be conscious of Cameron Lancaster if you're Miami FC. They know that. But when he starts to drift out, you can't just send someone with him. You can let him go at times, as the secondary threat is going to continue to come. And what Paul Dalglish likes to abide by, we're going to attack with 5 and defend with 5. That balance offensively and defensively rings true. They'll send 3 and then 2 supporting underneath. The same thing defensively where it can flip. If their 2 center backs are isolated, where the 3 supporting runs come from? And if they've got 1v1 on the defensive front, do they have help coming from the midfield tracking back?
Winner of this game will take on the winner of Charlotte Independence and Memphis 901. That game is currently in action. Charlotte leading by 2-0 as it's played in towards Francois. A Sharpie getting the better of him, winning the ball back for Lou City. They're trying to play out of some pressure. Sharpie just hoofing clear. McCabe trying to do the same. Just about kept it. Such experience through this Louisville side, and Miami wanted a piece of it, so they grabbed 3 former Louisville players. It's a bit heavy there from McCabe. Devin Williams, who's called into the most recent Jamaica squad. Speedy Williams. In midfield, you have Paco Craig in that defensive line. Key figure has been a solid contributor once again. Spent a couple years in all USL sides. And Richard Ballard in that front line, all former Louisville players. Never become too accustomed with these surrounds, mostly playing at Slugger Field in those days. Minor League Baseball stadium they used to call home, and we've traded that for this Palace, one of the best grounds in all of USL and frankly all of American soccer. Da Silva. And Akinyode. Joined ahead of the season from Birmingham Legion. Paul Dalglish, when he signed, saying there's simply not another midfielder like him in the USL. What a midfield combo that he has, and Akinyode and Speedy Williams.
It gives you the luxury to do so much within this system, Chris, and it's really a stepping stone within this midfield. Akinyode will tend to drift to his left a little bit. You zigzag diagonal to your right. You're pinching off Speedy Williams, and then you're looking for someone like Pierre Da Silva who's going to roam a bit more, and you'll see Ariel Martinez wearing the 10 shirt drop in to be one of those 10s. They like it to be a true pronged attack. Next thing you can do is the midfield easily turns into 6, and then as Martinez comes, the natural tendency defensively is keep the game in front of you and watch where that striker's going, and they'll push Ballard and Francois down into the channel, so they challenge your shape in so many different ways. That is the success that saw them go just 1 loss over the span of 15 that included 9 wins.
Good challenge there from Del Piccolo. Now Lancaster tries to clip it in behind in there for Brian Ownby. Reading of the game there from Robert Baggio. Miami can come forward there through Da Silva. Miami electing for wholesale changes in the closed season. Just keeping 4 players. Players with USL experience in their 2nd season here in the league. A few leagues in American soccer, and since Paul Dalglish has taken over, he actually has not lost a playoff match, whether in NISA or NPSL. And his first go of it here in the USL Championship. He's confident about his side, who had a very good chance early doors, which Ariel Martinez spurned. Ballard and Craig. Louisville, such a picture of stability, but they did have a change at managerial level as Martinez gets turned in a decent pocket. Francois and Da Silva has a run here of Richard Ballard, who just got his left-footed effort wrong at the vital moment, but lovely build-up play there for Miami FC.
Beautiful here by Miami FC. There's that pinch in by Ariel Martinez. Look at the inversion by Cristiano Francois. Everybody just starts to drift and they forget about Richie Ballard as you double back through. Dalglish asking for higher tempo, wants a little bit of a press here to come after him. But that's what I'm talking about, where you can play through Martinez, who drops down in. You've got that little step from a horizontal standpoint through Pierre da Silva, and then the next thing you know, little 5-10 yard diag, and you're in like Flint.
And the best chances of this opening quarter of an hour have come to Miami FC. Give them confidence that they can play with the side that have been so often top of the East. Since they arrived in USL, won a couple of titles, reached the Eastern Finals. Each of their first 6 seasons in the league. Ombi, first time on into the run there of Jimenez, who had drifted forward, but was tailing out of play. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Robert Baggio to take the throw in his 3rd stint with Miami FC in its various forms. He's fallen over it. There'll be a free kick there as Ombi caught him. Ombi, who gives a real stare down there to the assistant. So I'm pleased with that decision.
It's so odd seeing Paco Craig next to Brian Ombi.
Yeah.
It's like brothers. I mean, it's so strange. And obviously the first time that Miami FC have matched up against Louisville City. Paco Craig, such a tremendous piece from 2016 to 2019, over 100 appearances for this club in all competitions. It's a collegiate All-American out of Young Harris. Got an opportunity to go showcase his trade across the pond at Wickham, and you know, that was a dream of his that this organization was kind enough to let him explore. And when he did make his way back here, turns out he's going to trade it in for, it's a little bit different shade of purple, isn't it? A little bit more burnt orange, if you ask me.
Whistle for a man down. It's Robert Baggio. Bit of a tangle of legs with Brian Ombi. Dalglish remonstrating towards the referee. Oh yeah, just caught back of his heel there. Baggio not pleased either. Was really good in Alessandro Nesta's Miami FC sides for tearing his ACL. Has worked his way back into this team.
Chris, notice the space right now to the right of Callum Chapman-Page. They push Sean McFarland so high into the attack, rightfully so. He's extremely talented. Use him as a wingback, push him into a striker position, and then immediately retreats. But with that, you take the risk that is this quick counter out of the Louisville City squad. Jonathan Gomez, Jorge Gonzalez, any of them could easily step into it. But it is that understanding to flatten out defensively. Baggio, Craig, Chapman-Page, that quick little slide over that shuts down that space. That's where you want quick distribution, though. Someone like a Niall McCabe, pick it up, just ping one to keep him honest. 25, 30 yards, let him go get it, like that.
And a decent ball down the line there from Gomez, and in the attempt to find Gonzalez. And Chapman-Page with a tackle away. It's out for a throw. Gonzalez, the 22-year-old Spaniard who joins from Portland Timbers on loan. Gomez and McFarland getting into it. And it is the Miami right back who's gotten the better of it. Speedy Williams trying not to just boot it into Rose Ed straight away, and in doing so put McFarland in a bad spot, and he concedes a corner to Louisville City. And it will be a Vivify corner to come for Danny Cruz's Louisville City. You see him in the technical area. will be Lancaster to take. Surge of noise. Supporters stand in behind Jeff Caldwell's goal in this first half. And Lancaster short there into Gonzalez. Now Lancaster trying to leave a strike from that range, but sailing into the stand. Miami insisted on playing out from the back. Craig under some pressure, forced to just knock it long. Da Silva snapping the challenges and able to win it off of McCabe. And now Martinez. Francois to run here at Gomez. Francois trying to clip the cross in towards Martinez. Sharpie dealing. Gomez clear.
We've got a good look a couple of times with the speed issue for Louisville City and how it's matched up defensively for Miami FC, just stepping right through. It's well done by Da Silva, Speedy Williams, Richie Ballard a couple of times now, pick their head up, and you can see those moments where the ball just drifts a tiny bit further away from the body than Louisville City would like. Miami FC steps into it, starts to spring the other direction. They haven't exactly had numbers though. That's the one key thing you want to keep an eye on here. When they step into those situations, their success in previous games comes from the fact that the higher line is there, and when they go, they've got help in transition. That hasn't been the case yet.
McCabe knocking it all the way back to keeper Chris Hubbard, who has not been the #1 for the entirety of the season. At one point, having to watch as Parker Siegfried took his job. Hubbard back in and trusted for this playoff match. Originally started as the #3 choice keeper at this club, but he's worked his way up. It's a poor ball there in towards Ombi. Danny Cruz frustrated there with the slow pace from Louisville playing out. Miami still playing through their goalkeeper, even though it's his first game with the team. He would have just joined up with the club yesterday. Ombi getting the cross away off of Baggio. It'll be a corner. The Stampanel end. Another Vivify corner for Jimenez to take. So often a provider of key assists. For 35 since arriving in Louisville in 2017. In towards the heart of that 6-yard area. Caldwell out to punch, but not fully away. Sharpie trying to get a touch. Martinez trying to work around several. Well, Gonzalez got to it. What a tussle there. Martinez flicking it in his own area. Miami able to clear lines. Can admire the bravery and the confidence there from Martinez. About got away with it.
Bravery, huh?
Jimenez just about keeping it in play. Ballard poking it away for a throw.
I'll admire you for the choice of words. I'm sitting back here going, get rid of it, man. I'm sure Paul Dalglish shared some of the same sentiments on the sideline for a few seconds.
Ballard caught on it, but Akinyode able to cover for him. Sia McFarland. And Craig. Baggio for Da Silva. Multiple shouts for handball, but Louisville have possession, so it's immaterial. Lancaster hacked down from behind, and it's going to be Paco Craig who has his name taken by Elton Garcia in our first booking of this playoff encounter.
This is a pretty gnarly challenge on Cameron Lancaster as well. Watch the way his body contorts on the backside of it. It was a good job by Pierre Da Silva to push Niall McCabe back to the inside. Didn't want them to recycle, go in the other direction. Comes down awkward on the follow through.
A scything challenge there from Paco Craig, who receives a vivify yellow card. Lancaster does have previous with injury during his time in Louisville. Thankfully, back up on his feet. One of the stars of this division over the last several years, particularly here in Louisville, the former Tottenham Hotspur player. Bone flipped in towards Lancaster as McFarland with a calm chest back. Jeff Caldwell will claim. Chapman Page. Louisville making a mid-season managerial change with John Hackworth coming out, Danny Cruz taking over. First as interim, now been given the full-time position. Why not when you've led the side to top of the Central? Now Chapman Page. Side's trying to put back lines under pressure. Those long balls and having to play out. It's McCabe. It's a nice switch here for Jimenez. This time with knee cartilage issues. Only started 10 games out of the 32. Trusted to play right back here in this conference quarterfinal. Gonzalez. And Bone. Bone ran into trouble. Akinyote getting the touch. He's won it again. Imperious bit of play there from the Miami FC midfielder. Originally from Lagos, Nigeria. Gonzalez, though, can play it down the other end. Akinyote got an initial touch. Gonzalez, though, can clip it into Lancaster. And now Gonzalez again, a couple of deflections in on those strikes. Now Bone. Gonzalez in some space. Some shots are offside. We play on Del Piccolo. And Bone. It's a tame effort. And easily settled there by Caldwell.
Got to give credit to Miami FC that when they have let things slip in between the cracks, they've condensed themselves even further. So the chances that you're seeing from Louisville City are really compressed into a lot of bodies in front of them. Half chances at best, even from Corbin Bone on trying to whip this thing in. Certainly not a strike. Not with a player of that caliber from that distance. They were worried about all the real estate that could be in behind them if they were to turn things over. The difference here is when they are doing it, great job recovering. And Bolu Akinyote has done quite well for himself and for the team. Seems to be all over the pitch right now to help out.
Jimenez and Ownby. And it's towards Gonzalez on the back post. Tries to head it across rather than take down and have a strike. And no one making the corresponding run.
I'm surprised he doesn't try and bring this off himself, Chris, or even hit it first time. Easy enough. Chest down onto the ground, step right into it. I'm sure that's something of what's going on in that Tampa Bay Rowdies game, leading Tulsa 1-0 at halftime. Good look from Brian Ownby. Look at all the space he's got. And see how McFarland, the way that he's tracking towards him, his feet have not set themselves. That's a prime opportunity for the Gonzalez to step right in and challenge the outside back.
Bit of a loose ball in the middle, and Ownby can recover it. Baggio put the challenge in, but actually Ownby lost his footing. And he's won it back. Trying to beat Robert Baggio, but Baggio not having it. I believe that's a Rabona there from Pierre Da Silva. It's an extraordinary long ball to try and find Francois. Del Piccolo putting it back in the middle for Lou City. Lancaster pulled down from behind. Referee allowing play on. Del Piccolo. Finding Gomez well, trying to get the low cross through the penalty area. Chapman Page clearing. Strong header in there from McCabe, but to no one in particular, it's away for a goal kick. Showed you the scores from the other Eastern Conference playoff encounters this evening. Both of them in action. Charlotte remained 2-0 ahead of Memphis 901. 70 minutes gone there. Joel Johnson and Christian Fuchs, the goal scorers for Charlotte. Tampa Bay 1-0 up at home against FC Tulsa. Sebastian Guenzati League's second top scorer behind Haji Berry on the score sheet for the Rowdies.
That opening goal for Charlotte. Ooh, it's a rough one for the goalkeeper Cody Cropper. Kind of one of those things where when everything is going right, it just continues to do so. Even when Charlotte gets kind of parried aside, another chance steps out.
Nice first time ball there from Jimenez, and Ombi can charge in behind. Ombi cutting inside. Brian Ombi has his shot deflected. Gomez arriving. He has to go. Jonathan Gomez spilled by Caldwell. Del Piccolo. Caldwell again. Del Piccolo trying to clip it across. Caldwell summons another save. And his introduction paying dividends. Jeff Caldwell.
It starts with a beautiful inclusion of play by Brian Ombi. This is what they want. Ball out in front of him. Going after him. The cut back inside. Akinyoti knows he doesn't want to allow him to come back to the right. Force him to the inside. The strike from distance catches a little deflection. And then watch the goalkeeper go to work. 1, 2, 3 different saves. Does that catch the hand of Chapman Page? That's a bit close there from the center back. Right in front of Del Piccolo. It's near that upper extremity. Whether or not it comes off the arm is another story.
There's so much going on there that certainly is a fair shout. Lancaster with Gomez charging in behind Chapman Page. Gomez trying to take it on towards the byline, but the English defender marshalling him out of play for a goal kick. Gomez, after a couple of dodgy touches in the first 5 minutes, seems well settled into the game now.
It's a heck of a lot to handle if you're Jeff Caldwell. The initial strike from distance, and watch right here, does it? And you can't see from there. It was just before it, and the body blocked from the goalkeeper. Done well for himself.
The emergency loanee ahead of this one goes straight into the team and produces some magic. Da Silva and Ballard. Miami found out they had a goalkeeping injury in the build-up. And Connor Sparrow applying for an emergency loan, and Caldwell comes in. Goes from the start. Speedy Williams. Another injury in the build-up as well. In the training session ahead of this one, Josh Perez unavailable. As in behind, in towards Ballard. Tries to get right side of Jimenez, and he's done so. Martinez onto his favored left, trying to get a strike away. Couldn't get through the traffic. Akinyoti has his effort take a nick off of McCabe and away for a corner to Miami.
They're recognizing right now that they are not able to get all of their playmakers on the inside involved on the ball, so you work outside in. Smartly done here by Dalglish and his boys on the road. You go find Richie Ballard. You look for someone high like Sion McFarland. All of it comes down to that last-ditch effort coming back across the top of the box. It's come in a variety of ways, and you got to give them credit right now, Chris. They've done well for themselves 33 minutes in. They've certainly conceded some opportunities, but nothing like we've seen some other visitors that have come into this building. Kept Louisville at bay for the most part.
And it will be Da Silva to take the corner. 23-year-old in towards that 6-yard area, and the header comes in. Great save from Hubbard. It's still available. Gomez is trying to get rid, but it's straight to Ballard. His low ball cut out there by McCabe. Real action there on the near post. Speedy Williams hitting the switch. Taken down by Ombi. McFarland under some pressure. More danger down the Louisville end. A great chance there from the corner for Miami. Lancaster trying to get round Chapman Page. Pair of Englishmen with Chapman Page not impressed. First time there for Francois. Turning the favor there for Sion McFarland. Cristiano Francois digging up the cross. It's right at Hubbard, who catches. He was the hero in this last passage in play.
It's a beautiful ball whipped in by Da Silva, and how this gets down comes off the arm of Chapman Page right there. That's really close. I'll tell you, it's very close. The argument coming from the center back, to be fair, it does come off that right arm first. Remember, it's the bottom of the arm sleeve, and then whether or not it actually comes over the line, too difficult to tell in my opinion.
It also comes off of Sharpie ever so slightly as well before Hubbard has palmed it away.
3 in the last 3 minutes now. Math seems right.
Yep.
This is the wave coming, though, that we expect from Louisville. See, I said that Miami FC had done well for themselves for the most part. I was referencing the half in totality. The last 5-7 minutes have been normally what you see out of Louisville City to start a game. 15, 20 minutes in, they'll pepper you. 5, 10, 15 shots, trying to just ping the 8x8 in any which direction, especially with a emergency goalkeeper in Jeff Caldwell. He has done well for himself, and Cameron Lancaster just a little checking too. 10 minutes to halftime.
Match brought to you by Advanced ENT and Allergy. Ahead of the curve, relief around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. Now ready to go once more as Lancaster sees a bit of treatment. He trots back into the middle. Gomez. A key contributor. He's been 8 assists on the year. 18-year-old, formerly in the FC Dallas setup, and nearly able to keep it in play there, but ran it out for a throw. Could potentially feature in the Real Sociedad reserves in the coming year, playing for manager Xabi Alonso. The worst ex-pros you can play for.
God, I miss him in a Liverpool kit. I'm just thinking about it. I looked at one of the lineups the other day from like 2012 and 2005 and then 2015, or excuse me, 16. I go, things are very different in that 10-year time frame.
Yes. Da Silva. I'm sure Paul Dalglish does the same on numerous occasions. Here's Ballard. And Akinyode. Da Silva, who is an academy player at Orlando City, moved into the Orlando City B side. Featured a bit for St. Louis and a couple of appearances with the full senior Orlando side. But they found a home in USL previously with Memphis and now here in Miami. He's got 5 assists on the year. As I mentioned, Devin playing as one of those dual number 10s. Martinez drops him behind. He got runners going in.
It's one of the main reasons they've had trouble working through the middle of Louisville City, because of that little pinch in by Martinez and then Da Silva next to him.
Del Piccolo to get out of his feet, but not too much of it there for Martinez. Now Da Silva with work to do.
They're also not super wide if you look at the outside mids for Miami FC. Clogs the middle even further. It creates 6 across of a line at certain points in time.
Saw that's in behind for Corbin Bone. Cutting onto his right, good skill. Corbin Bone, his strike took a deflection and loops away for a corner to Louisville City.
This is the tempo Danny Cruz is asking for around the 15-20 minute mark. Playing off the back line, faster in transition. That doesn't mean everything has to be direct, but the opportunities are there. We're seeing Jonathan Gomez get more involved. You see the one-on-ones, Gonzalez pinching to the inside. This is where it turns 6s and 7s on the defensive front for Miami FC with all the runners coming through.
And it's Gomez with the Vivify corner into the back post. An easy catch there for Caldwell. Take some beating of the Miami FC keeper, making his first ever start for the club in the playoffs. Baggio. Ballard with a little shove from behind. Craig. Miami really surging in the middle of the season. Entered into into the playoffs with an impressive 4-0 win away at Charleston. It was June the 26th to September the 22nd. Played 15 games with only 1 defeat. They've given it away. Bone on for Gonzalez, clipping it into Lancaster. He's dispossessed of the final moment there by Craig, but only cleared as far as Ownby. On for Bone in some space, tries to peel it back. Baggio with the overhead kick outside of his own area. Only an acrobatic way to defend. Louisville will have to go again. Miami in that 3-month stretch, 9 wins and 5 draws. A couple of wins over at the Tampa Bay Rowdies as well. Real signal of their arrival in USL. It was a bit of a struggle last year. Their debut season, of course, pandemic shortened. It was bizarre for everyone. Gonzalez trying to curl one. Just started it too far wide. Of target there, Jorge Gonzalez.
For quite some time, they were one of the only teams that could lay claim to taking down some of the quote-unquote greats in the USL Championship. The back-to-back wins July 7th and 17th against the current Eastern Conference champions, Tampa Bay Rowdies, #1 overall seed too. You're able to take them down twice. Of course, everybody trying to find how to break down that very difficult equation that is Al Lang. Tulsa up against it right now.
McFarland on here for Da Silva, who tries to measure one. Not too far away on that effort either. Da Silva has been a real spark through the middle for Miami FC. I've won titles at different levels in the former NASL, NISA and MPSL. It's been different, it's been more challenging. It's arriving in the championship. Ownby towards the byline, cross into the near post. Craig, the best clearance away. McCabe spraying it for Ownby as Jimenez joining him in the attack. Tries to find him there, Ownby. He's on 11 assists this season. Corbin Bone, former FC Cincinnati, into MLS with FC Cincinnati as it came off of Akinyode. Referee waving play on after the shouts for handball. Ownby poking it on there, trying to leave it for Gonzalez, who won it, but into the path of Da Silva. And Gonzalez disrupting the counter before it can get started.
It's another peculiar one, isn't it? That looked to be a handball off Bolu Akinyode, just at the top of the box. Brian Ownby, that signature little cut in we've seen all season long and again tonight. Back over the left shoulder, watch the right foot to the left. Yep, can't do that. Could make the argument that it's close enough to his body. The reaction probably arises suspicion a bit more. Charlotte Independents have tagged in other ones, but so have 901 FC. Still a 2-goal gap with 7 minutes to play for Mike Jeffries and co at home. Memorial Stadium getting their business done.
Ballard. Third Charlotte goal from Sylvain Marveaux. Cal Murphy getting a consolation on 82 minutes. And behind Da Silva, clipping it through the area. Sharpie got a piece of it, but it's come back to Ballard. And Speedy Williams thinking into the path here of McFarland. His pullback into the near post away there from Sharpie again. Miami with plenty of pressure on this Louisville defense. It's a good ball to find Francois. Clipped into the area over the head of Martinez. But again, Louisville unable to fully clear their lines. Francois with some decent skill. Sian McFarland getting the cross away at real pace, and the punch required there from Hubbard. Again, Miami winning the second phase of play. Baggio. As the whistle will sound, man down in the area is Richard Ballard, as he went to try and go for that earlier cross.
This is a heck of a job by the goalkeeper. Watch how brave you are. Right into traffic back through, and it's just that fall on the back end on that ankle for Richie Ballard on the follow through. This is an awkward one. Catches him awry on the angle, falling backwards. That'll leave a mark. I hope he's all right.
Unlucky there. Ballard is. Hubbard landed right on his legs, and Ballard didn't recognize that the fall was coming, and the bottom of his legs just got stuck underneath, and those are the moments where knees and ankles go, and Ballard in some real discomfort. See some of the crowd here at Lynn Family Stadium. Top of USL in attendance at just over 10,000 a game. And when we have a moment, we can tell you that Lynn Family Stadium, this venue, is going to be hosting the 2021 NWSL Women's Championship presented by Budweiser. It'll be on November the 20th with kickoff projected at 12 p.m. Tickets on sale to the public at racinglufc.com/NWSL-championship. Venue being moved from Portland to Louisville to accommodate the start time for the NWSL final at the end of an expansion season for Racing Louisville. Get the reward of hosting the final as Ballard is being helped off, and I think the training giving the universal signal that Ballard's night is done. We are into stoppage time, which is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Referee has added a minimum of 4 minutes at the end of the first half.
Now he's testing it. You can see just with the training staff whether or not he's going to be able to continue. And the boys checking on Lamar Walker, recently called up for the international window with the Reggae Boys Jamaican men's national team. Both he and Speedy Williams. That's something to think about. We're not there yet, but plenty of half to play. Second 45 minutes, if they were able to progress, they might be without their services. Be massive losses for Paul Dalglish.
McFarland. And Ballard signaling that he wanted to keep going, and he's back on the field. Restoring parity of players with his reintroduction. Akinyode caught.
Ooh.
And Bone to break. Ownby. Baggio doing well to put the challenge in and poke it away for a throw-in.
You could hear it from the manager on the sideline as well. That was very easily going to turn catastrophic if Brian Ownby checks the 5-hole, squares it through.
Nice flick on there for Jimenez. Jimenez with the cross, it's too heavy. Actually out for a throw-in out the other side, so Louisville can keep numbers in an advanced position. Jimenez perhaps just a bit too excited on that delivery.
I don't know if I've ever seen, credit to Miami FC for the way that they've set themselves up, a Louisville City squad, especially with Corbin Bone and Del Piccolo on the field at the same point in time, not on the ball that much. A lot is on the exterior, and Miami FC is almost daring them, saying, listen, we understand what you're trying to do. You want to play to the end, pull us much closer together, find a way to dink up over the top. The second that you come from the outside, you're then going to play in behind or underneath us to Del Piccolo and Corbin Bone. And they have still been able to create Louisville City. I will give them that. But the bread and butter usually runs through that engine room. And those guys have not had a lot of touches on the ball here in this first half.
Da Silva shoved from behind, it will be a free kick. Tampa Bay running away with the other Eastern Conference playoff matchups tonight. Sebastian Guenzati in the first half to make it 1-0 out of the break. In the first 15 minutes of the second half, an own goal from FC Tulsa. Kembo Kibato with the OG. Steven Dos Santos getting a goal on 56 minutes. It's 3-0 to the Rowdies.
They're scary now, man. They're healthy again. I can remember back in whatever it was. This year is just never ending. June, late June, early July, 4 losses in a row or 3 and 4, something like that. Oh, the wheels are falling off. They didn't have anybody to select from. There was a situation Louisville City's dealt with, Miami FC has dealt with, and yet still all 3 of them ticking away, but the defending Eastern Conference champion, Das Machine, just rolling right through it right now in their first round game.
Paul Douglas not pleased that a handball wasn't given there against Akinyode as Martinez. Actually, rather, it would have been Danny Cruz who would have been frustrated with that decision as McFarland tries to get the cross away. Takes a deflection off of Gomez away for a corner. Perhaps one last chance in it for Miami FC, who have certainly given a good account of themselves here in this first half. It'll be a Vivify corner. Da Silva deliberately over to take. Last knockings of the first half. Da Silva into the near post. Another bit of danger. Hubbard getting the initial punch and Ombi poking away for a throw. And there is the halftime whistle. Miami FC have impressively created chances away from home in their first ever playoff match in the USL Championship. Louisville with a goal-mouth scramble that Jeff Caldwell handled well. Neither side able to find the breakthrough as we arrive at halftime with your score. Louisville 0, Miami FC 0. Bring you through all the scores from around the USL Championship playoffs tonight, last night. Bring you first half highlights as well as your score at halftime in Serve Pro. Halftime is Louisville 0, Miami 0.
Ready to hit the road again in this new RAV4.
This is one of the most versatile vehicles on or off the road.
No wonder it's the #1 selling SUV.
You got all kinds of room back here.
Connectivity for all your devices, and it comes in a hybrid that gets 40 mpg.
Now, during Toyota's fall savings, get 1.9 financing for 72 months on a new RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 2 years no-cost maintenance included.
It's pretty easy to see why RAV4 is #1.
Toyota, let's go places.
This is my Let's Go Find Amazing card.
My, yeah, we will have dessert card. My, you only live once card.
This is my card. With 321 rewards, you can earn 3 points on travel and transportation, 2 points on food and entertainment, and 1 point for all other purchases. This is the card that's going places. Only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
Wow.
Think they'll take our case? Hi, Mr. Cooper. Here for your injury case?
We're just regular people.
Oh, at Morgan & Morgan, we treat all our clients like VIPs.
I think this means we're famous now.
Just got my Benjamins.
Follow me?
You don't have to be famous to hire America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan.
In halftime, brought to you by Serve Pro. It is the 1 seed from the Central Louisville City taking on the 4 seed in Miami FC from the Atlantic Division. It's 0-0 at the break. Chris Whittingham at Devin Kerr is going to bring you the weather report, which is tonight brought to you by Advanced ENT and Allergy. 45 degrees at kickoff. A little wind in the ground. A lovely evening for football here in Louisville. That weather report brought to you by Advanced ENT and Allergy. Ahead of the curve, I believe around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. As here's how the bracket looked entering the conference quarterfinal round. 2 sides confirming their place into the Western Conference Finals last night in San Antonio and Oakland Roots, as we can bring you the highlights from those games. And Devin, will start first with San Antonio playing host to San Diego Loyal. And 13 minutes in, Early goal from Nathan. San Diego caught there. Free kick was a high boot there into Jose Gallegos, who was the star man really on the night.
They were incredible in the first half. 9 shots, 3 of which hits the frame, and here's going to be one of them. Mo Abu. What a delight he's been within the midfield for Alan Marcina. Beautiful ball just whipped in, and hey, go up and get it. Nathan, double-digit goal this year. Why not? Puts them out in front in the 14th minute. But it would continue that way. They would move it left, right. Everybody got involved. Victor PC out on the outside, held it down defensively, did not allow Elijah Martin or Jack Blake to push forth. And then once again, the bad man from the corner. Mo Abu, Mitch Tainer, Patino, goal. His first goal since June and his injury. This guy had 5 goals through 9 games. He finally gets one back. San Antonio UFC, they get their second of the night. They put it on cruise control in the second half. An easy 2-0 victory.
Santiago Patino with that second, and San Antonio through to the conference semis in El Paso. El Paso Locomotive taking on Oakland Roots, who would create a couple of decent chances in the second half. A good save, and unable to put the finishing touch there, Kai Green.
Logan Ketterer had to do well for himself to keep his team in it. They got ravished in the second half. It was chance after chance. But here's a rough one. Turnover. Josue Aron Gomez, top of the 18. Probably should have done better. You and I talked about this. You said you can't really call it a shank, right, from that distance and the amount of pressure, but he definitely needs to put it on frame. He does not, and it all leads to this. The moment for Oakland Roots they'd been waiting for. Bit sloppy at the back for El Paso Locomotive. As clean as you can be from a finishing standpoint for Jamie Bokila. That's in the 76th minute. They would not look back. Oakland Roots, and what some argue the biggest upset in USL Championship playoff history, take down El Paso Locomotive.
Oakland Roots going down Route 1 to get to the conference semifinals out west. Your score at halftime is Louisville City 0, Miami FC 0. Still more to come here in Serve Pro halftime.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
There's hit on the line! Oh, and put it in! A magnificent strike! You go down, you come back, and you find a way.
Goes topics. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today we're gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What?
What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Feel when I take it. How you gon' feel when I take it? We about action. We about action. Tell me how you gon' feel. There's hit on the line. Oh, and put it in! A magnificent strike. You go down, you come back, and you find a way. Tell me how you gon' feel.
Flying from Louisville has never been easier or cheaper. Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has more low-fare flights and non-stop destinations than ever, including new low-cost flights to Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and 5 Florida cities on Spirit Airlines, and new flights to New Orleans, Charleston, and Tampa on Breeze Airways. You can now fly non-stop from Louisville to over 35 destinations nationwide, like Los Angeles, Fort Lauderdale, Austin, and Fort Myers. Learn more at flylouisville.com.
Head to Indiana to bet with Twin Spires Sportsbook, presenting sponsor of the 2021 USL Playoffs. Use code LOU250 and place a $5 opening wager on any sport to unlock a $250 free bet. Twin Spire Sportsbook, presenting sponsor of the 2021 USL Playoffs. Chris Whittingham, Devin Kerr here at halftime. Serve Pro halftime of Louisville City and Miami FCs. We can now show you the updated bracket. 4 games have gone final. Showed you the 2 Western Conference games in the previous segment. Oakland and San Antonio through. Birmingham Legion through on account of a issue with COVID in the camp of Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Charlotte Independence taking care of Memphis 901 by 3-1. And it's from that game that will bring you highlights. And Devin, Charlotte in cruise control in this one.
They're incredible, and unfortunately for them, it's going to start as a mistake if you're 901 FC. Watch the goalkeeper, Cody Cropper, comes off his line and right to Joel Johnson. Tragic mistake inside 10 minutes here for 901 FC. That's 1-0. Charlotte FC continued to apply the pressure, and then guess what? Here come the Independents. Ball to the near post. Christian Fuchs, yeah, he won a Premier League, but he's looking for the USL Championship. Bags himself another goal. Can you argue this is a goalkeeper mistake again?
Yeah.
Got to punch this away, right? Cannot put it back into the crowd. That's 2-0. Let's add insult to injury. Watch the rotation. Ball from the middle. Yep, there's Overton. There's Marveau. Off Martinez, and there goes that bad man into the bottom corner for 3 on the night. Kyle Murphy would add his 21st on the season, 901 FC to get it to 3-1. Enzo Martinez would actually miss one from the spot, but Mike Jeffries and co., as most people predicted, moving on to the next round. They'll face the winner of this game between Louisville and Miami. How about the rest of the scores, Chris?
Yeah, and you look at the 2 games from Friday night, San Antonio beating San Diego, Oakland Roots beating El Paso. Other game going on right now, Tampa Bay Rowdies leading FC Tulsa by 3-1. We told you about the goal scorers in the first half. Joaquin Rivas has added one for FC Tulsa. It's Guenzati, an own goal, and Steven Dos Santos for the Rowdies that had them 3-1 to the good.
You would imagine that apparently they woke up on the same side of the bed as the Independents in the 3-1, right? That's my dad joke of the day. I'm really interested to see that Orange County Colorado Springs game. The contrasting styles. Colorado Springs, record-wise, has held serve without Michi Galina, but the points per game, the goals dropping without the services of him, and Haji Berry just hasn't been the same either. Orange County, compact, win streak intact, and Phoenix Rising at home. They don't lose often. RGV streaking to get into the playoffs. Can their momentum continue?
And that's still to come in the Western Conference this evening. But tonight in the East, it's still a lot of work to do for Louisville City. They're 0-0 at the break with Miami FC. We'll come back with first half highlights and second half kickoff on the other way in Serve Pro halftime.
Flying from Louisville has never been easier or cheaper. Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has more low-fare flights and non-stop destinations than ever, including new low-cost flights to Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and 5 Florida cities on Spirit Airlines, and new flights to New Orleans, Charleston, and Tampa on Breeze Airways. You can now fly non-stop from Louisville to over 35 destinations nationwide, like Los Angeles, Fort Lauderdale, Austin, and Fort Myers. Learn more at flylouisville.com.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle. Did you know Toyota has more all-wheel drive vehicles than anyone else?
15 to be exact, including the legendary Off-Road King 4Runner.
The rugged Tacoma, the #1 selling truck in its class.
This Ben's a hybrid that gets 40 mpg.
Or the best-selling Camry, made even better with all-wheel drive.
During Toyota's fall savings, get $500 TFS APR cash on new 22 Camrys.
Or 1.9 financing on remaining new 21 Venzas.
When you run the numbers,
Toyota is #1.
Toyota, let's go places. Hey, what's up? I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle, and we're back on the road in the aggressively styled, incredibly comfortable Toyota Highlander.
With your choice of a powerful V6
or best-in-class hybrid engine.
The Toyota Highlander can handle anything that comes your way.
And it holds its value better than anything in its class.
During Toyota's fall savings, get $500 TFS APR cash on any new 22 Highlander or Highlander Hybrid, plus 2 years no-cost maintenance.
It's pretty easy to see why.
Highlander is #1. Toyota, let's go places.
In this Eastern Conference quarterfinal, it's Louisville 0, Miami FC 0 at Serve Pro halftime. Chris Whittingham, Devin Kerr here for the commentary of this mammoth encounter to start the Eastern Conference playoffs. We can get stuck into our first half highlights. And Devin, the chances will get started early here for Louisville. Oscar Jimenez with a good ball here into Cameron Lancaster, who forces Jeff Caldwell into a save.
Love the idea from the striker, too, because as Oscar Jimenez whips this in, you've got a couple of decisions. You let it ride. If you take your touch, how far out in front do you get it? And the way that it presents itself, it's got a couple of chances. You can go it alone, cut it back across, have a strike, pick your poison. Lancaster goes for the bottom corner. Good save by Jeff Caldwell. The response from Miami FC, this is where they are at their best, and one of their best chances, too. Ariel Martinez drops back. You've got two number 10s playing off De Silva. You just usher this thing right to left. The back line starts to scramble. Richie Ballard can't put it on frame.
And Ballard's effort smashed into side netting. Then on the half-hour mark, he would be a flurry of chances. First, Ombi's strike deflected, and then Jonathan Gomez's left-footed effort really causes some chaos.
Watch the recovery by the goalkeeper. Down to the bottom left, then down to the bottom right. A little bit of controversy. Does this come off the arm of Callan Chapman-Page? We looked at it from a couple different angles. Look at the English on that ball, by the way. That thing is all over the map for Caldwell to make the save. Del Piccolo lobbies from the goalkeeper, but again, referee having nothing of it. Even if it does come off the center back, very difficult to tell. They keep him out. Got better as the half went on from Louisville City. And just before halftime, similar response. There were some arguments here for a handball too. And then did it cross the line? I say no. That looks no to me, Chris. I think Ballard did a good job, or excuse me, Hubbard did a very good job of keeping it out.
It's got to be hold the ball over hold the line. Didn't look at it. We didn't have a definitive angle to say that it was either. There you see the stats at halftime. Shots in favor of Louisville, but possession slightly favoring Miami FC. How did you see that first 45 minutes in terms of the balance of play?
You and I were just kind of chatting about it. It felt like it was sloppy from both teams. You made the best comment. It was nerves. It looked nervy. It looked like guys were just off kilter a little bit, that, you know, they had ideas, a little pressure comes, and all of a sudden they got jittery. That's kind of the way the entire opening 45 minutes went for both teams, and that's a bit surprising, as calm as the disposition is normally for these two squads. Both managers going to have that chat at halftime, said, boys, listen, this is just another game. Yeah, it means a little bit more, but we worked all season long for just these moments. Settle down and go out and have a little fun.
We are underway in the second 45 minutes. Louisville in the black shirts with the gray accents. Miami in the all orange with the blue and white accents. Miami finishing fourth in the Atlantic as Akinyoda able to win it off of Bone. Miami do like to play out. They're not always just going to clear their lines. First available opportunity, and does lead to giveaways in those sorts of moments. Ombi. The low ball coming through towards Lancaster, but his former teammate Craig in the way. Imagine there were plenty of battles like those on the training ground over the course of the last few years in Louisville. Craig twice winning the league with Lou City. And departed on a European adventure with Wickham and QBR. Back in the league though. Sought out by Miami FC. So it will be a throw in here to Louisville. Baggio frustrated with the decision. The referee just trying to cool the temperature a little bit. Baggio and the assistant got into it.
Think about all the movement for Miami FC in the first half. They only had one shot on target, Chris. And kind of talked about how they weren't able to get a lot of attacking movements on the inside. They did take their chances from the outside, but defensively, Lou City, good recoveries, set themselves up. When the ball was coming back across, it seemed like every single time you turned your head, the black and gray right there to push it away. That's what they need right there. Need Speedy Williams, Martinez, and De Silva to start to link up together. That's where the creativity comes from. Even when their false nine comes this deep, they find a way to play off of them.
Real surge there from Martinez, the Cuban. Most ever Miami FC appearances. Close to 120. Bone. Pick out that running behind it. It's a good ball to find Ombi as well. Gets his head up to try and find the cross. Baggio had to get that challenge right, and he did. Going down in the penalty area, winning it back and winning his side of throw as well. Paul Dalglish in the Miami technical area. He's got a few options available to him. Thought he might have to use a sub in that first half, and Richard Ballard looked like he was carrying a knock, but he's carried on, the former Louisville player. Baggio gets the throw in short. Draws the attention of two.
Good press.
Getting a touch, but it's straight at Del Piccolo. Baggio making amends and just lofting away. Bone able to settle. I believe put on some long sleeves at halftime.
You a long sleeve fan?
I am.
Do you like the long sleeve underneath the jersey or a full long sleeve kit?
I like a long sleeve kit.
Same. Yeah, I'm old school like that. You don't see them as much these days.
Yeah, it's very much the David Beckham look.
Yeah, big fan of that. Although I do question some of those choices when I was younger in high school in Florida, asking for a long sleeve kit in 85, 90 degree weather with 90% humidity.
Were they baggy back then?
Oh yeah, couldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, the baggy kits.
It would have been rude not to.
Were not aesthetically pleasing, as Devin Williams with the poor touch, but McFarland able to cover him. And it's Louisville pressing to win it back. Gomez, his first touch has let him down on a couple of occasions tonight. It's on the through ball, trickling away for a goal kick. There is Gomez. Could still pick between the United States and Mexico. Not been pressed into that decision just yet. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Caldwell taking a decent amount of time over the goal kick in his first ever start for Miami FC here in this playoff game. The emergency loanee, joining from Hartford, who didn't make the playoffs, so Dalglish putting the call in. Told us of a couple of options he was chasing for the emergency loanee. In the end, able to get Caldwell in.
Oh, watch here.
Da Silva and Gomez with a heavy coming together. Neither of them really feels like there was much malice in it. And Gomez quickly back to his feet. And a free kick to Lou City.
Tell that to the masseuse later. And this is, you can say whatever you want. That's got a lot of brute force behind it, you ask me.
A shin into the side there. Hubbard was called upon in one big moment, produced the save. Scramble from a corner. Wes Sharpie, second season with the club after arriving from Memphis. And Tosh have partnered well. Baggio trying to pick out a run of Francois, but Gomez reading it well. Well played down the line there for Gonzalez. Sharpie from his own area, the poor giveaway. Speedy Williams here into Francois. Wanted an overlapping run, but none forthcoming. Now Miami can probe. Thrakinyode. Baggio. A flare there from Ballard, but gave it away straight to McCabe. And Bone fouled off it. Remarkably, this is the first ever meeting between these two clubs. And it comes here in the Eastern Conference playoffs because of the divisional schedule. Louisville only facing 4 teams outside of their division. Not yet had the opportunity to face Miami. Their second season. Header on there from Ballard. Craig all the way back to keeper Caldwell. Louisville at home this season. 12 out of 16 contests. 2 draws and 2 losses. Turn this place into a fortress. Not carried the weight of dominance that you would expect from a Louisville side, as McCabe Sends it out for Ombi. Going for the cross first time. It's high arcing and an easy catch there for Caldwell. Trying to get back to his feet to start the breakdown the other way quickly. McFarland all the way back to Caldwell. Chapman Page. Ran into the pressure there of Del Piccolo. Pokes it away for a throw. And it will be Billy Forbes who will enter here for Richard Ballard.
This is a conversation at halftime between a manager and Richie Ballard to check and see how much he can give him, and that gives you an idea of exactly where the former Louisville man is feeling. It tangled up on the ankle in the first half, can't make a go of it. Normally this is a trend that occurs around the 65th or 70th minute to bring Billy Forbes on.
16th substitute appearance of the year for the Turks and Caicos International. And that is a substitution brought to you by MHS Global. Free kick, rather a throw-in to Louisville. Bone feeding it back to Gomez. Nicely on here for Del Piccolo. His crosses into a dangerous area. Ombi arriving, and he came through Baggio as well. It was Ombi who got the touch. It's a goal kick, and Baggio has remained down.
There's contact on the follow through here. Well done on the forefront of it all. Sweep the ball through, peel out. Del Piccolo can't ask for much more of it in terms of placement, and Brian Ombi on the backside just getting tangled up. The two of them have been doing battle all night long. Shared some words, some interests. Certainly no recipes. No one's coming to dinner soon, are they?
Certainly Ombi and Baggio have become well acclimated to each other. Towards Lancaster, and Craig sends it high into the Louisville night sky. Yode trying to get something on it. Lancaster can as well. It's a series of headers in this game at the moment. As Chapman Page clears out to McCabe. And a free kick given to Miami as De Silva clipped there by McCabe. And the moment De Silva went down, was not having it. Free kick short. We remain scoreless at Lynn Family Stadium. On here for Gomez. And McCabe. Oh, it's a poor giveaway. Martinez can charge him behind Tosh once more. Martinez, it's a heavy touch. He still gets ahead of Hubbard, who's able to smother it. And again, Martinez breaks in behind the Louisville defense, but unable to convert.
It's the third time in this game we've seen an untimely turnover. Toast trying to lay chase. What a step up by the goalkeeper. Actually thought, Chris, that he was a bit slow to react. But the immediate jump off the line afterward by Chris Hubbard in full extension on Ariel Martinez.
Now Bone towards Gomez. That's a slide to keep this one in play. Tries to Meg McFarland, but it's one to throw. A couple of nervy moments for Louisville in defense on this night, although just a couple of shots on target. Gonzalez into Lancaster, high boot there, and he caught Chapman Page. And a bit reckless there, that high boot from Cameron Lancaster.
Chris, what's so interesting about those turnovers is that there's no pressure around them. It's not like you're getting pressure on the weak side or you've been doubled and you're looking to try and release. Instead, simple little balls played back through that have just opened itself up into space and have been so easy to collect for Miami FC. Laura Gonzalez trying to find their talisman striker. That first touch does get away, so good with it usually, and he knows immediately. Thing pops up off the deck. Trying to reach out that stretch boot, just colliding.
And it will be Caldwell over the free kick. Here's Ombe. Nice flick there from Akinyode, and now Baggio trying to carry forward. A little dinky behind in towards Martinez. Multiple shouts for offside are heeded by the assistant. Will be a free kick. Late goal between Tampa and Tulsa has gone the Rowdies' way, only by 4-1. Tulsa also down to 10 men. Eric Bird sent off. Leo Fernandez with a late goal, and so will be Tampa through.
Dear Lord, what a match that's going to be. Birmingham Legion, Tampa Bay Rowdies. And Cream slowly rising to the crop here. USL Championship playoffs. Even with the upset yesterday, Oakland Roots taking down El Paso Locomotive. We've seen more chalk here tonight.
Speedy Williams. Cave's header is on for Bone. Can't get around former Louisville midfield player. Jamaica international. Finally getting a win on the board in the last international window against Honduras. The Reggae Boys will entertain the United States in the forthcoming international window after the U.S.'s home game against Mexico. A rivalry renewed in Cincinnati. Soccer City emerged in USL. Sharpie.
There's another one.
It's a loose ball there out towards Gomez, and having to poke it away for a throw in Sharpie before Francois could break down the other end. Miami in their first ever USL postseason match. They've given a good account of themselves in the opening hour. Gomez able to poke it on there for Gonzalez. Now Ombe. Real intent. Gonzalez again, trying to get the strike away. And Caldwell just making sure it was probably going around the post, but Caldwell taking no chances.
A little surprised there's no shout behind Jorge Gonzalez on this one, and the way that they've given the luxury to Brian Ombe out on that right-hand wing, notice they've shut him down and haven't allowed him to push onto that far channel. We saw it in the first half as well, but if you're not going to give him the speed, they're allowing him to come back to the inside, and as he does, it's an overcompensation by Bolo Akinyode multiple times. There was a trailing run there by Corbin Boone behind Jorge Gonzalez. Just don't think there was enough pace on the ball as it continued to come square to make its way all the way across.
Baggio away for a throw. Another late goal in that Rowdies Tulsa match. Dario Suarez has put his name on the score sheet. It's now 4-2 in Tampa. 2 games to come later on tonight. Orange County, home with Colorado Springs. Phoenix, home with Rio Grande Valley. RGV. That would be some playoff upset.
It was an interesting ball.
Switch out towards McFarland. Gonzalez was giving chase, but see how McFarland able to hang on, and fouled there by Del Piccolo. Free kick to Miami.
There's some really peculiar decisions coming off both back lines tonight. We just talked about some of the melancholic balls that have been sprayed to the side by the likes of Niall McCabe, Wes Sharpie. And Baggio trying to ping this thing 30 yards coming across the grain when all the Louisville players got a high line. Well done here by McFarland to just track back, and there's a little bit of contact here. Can't necessarily blame him for going to ground. Wouldn't say that there's too much in it. At the same time, can't blame the whistle. Certainly not the flurry that we saw at the tail end of the first half with all the chances dropping for Louisville City.
McCabe trying to pick out Ombe, and it's a good ball as well. The cross is headed away there from Craig, but McCabe has come flying through, was clipped there by Francois, and a free kick to come in a dangerous area here for Louisville.
what they would have given to continue this run instead of having the challenge brought forth as Francois slid over on Niall McCabe. Watch the left shoulder that you've got right available. Corbin Bone is finding these half spaces. There's a real good look at it. If he breaks through, little turnover, easy on the left foot instead. Irishman to ground. This is Cameron Lancaster territory for sure. Very weary if you're Jeff Caldwell. The conversation with Paul Dalglish was all about Lancaster, talking about what an enigma he was. Consciously aware. You can't be more aware from situations like this. Dead ball, centrally located. This is where the magic comes to light for their big number 9 up top.
And it will be Lancaster from about 30 yards away. Try and pick one out.
And everybody recognizes that. You'd hate to take the ball away from him at the same time. You've got guys who can hit it too, but he's not letting it go. This is all Lancaster.
And it will indeed be Cameron Lancaster has his strike go into the wall. Gomez on the follow. Never threatening Caldwell's goal with the dragged effort wide. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Caldwell's goal kick sliced awkwardly. Jorge Gonzalez winning the header. Akinyote able to regain possession for Miami. Da Silva just about keeping it for himself.
Well done.
Lovely turn. Good skill, and he's clipped there by Gomez.
Easy, son. Clinics on Sunday morning.
And it will be a retake and free kick there as Miami got a player too close to their restart. I think Cruz is just arguing, but if he wants to take it quickly, that's the risk he takes.
Well, that's on them. They gave it away. Just sort of chronicling the escapades on the sideline here from my referee, Elton Garcia. Some interesting decisions for sure. I'd say for the most part that they've held the game in check. I think you and I had a couple of little head nods at the questionables in the first half in terms of what may or may not have come off the hands of either side. Even though.
Craig in behind for Sia McFarland. It's the cross away, takes a deflection off of Gomez, and it will be a set piece opportunity here for Miami. Speedy Williams encouraging the side. And it will be Da Silva who will trot over to take. A solid performance so far. Paul Dalglish talking about fulfilling his potential in Miami. The referee will now allow the corner in towards that back post. Arriving there was Forbes, who hasn't really been too involved since coming on about 10 minutes ago. But it was Sharpie there first, away for the corner. Da Silva will trot over to the other side. The Estopinal end.
Well, those expectations really can't be fulfilled until they get him full match fit. Really struggled to maintain that throughout the season. Seems to be the story of his career so far. Tremendous talent, though.
And here's into the near post. Akinyote trying to flick on, but Ombi leaping to clear. Da Silva with a second bite at the apple. Cross in. Is headed away there from Gomez. McFarland measuring the volley, and he caught it cleanly into the supporters stand with the Capos. Took a bit of a nick on that one.
One of the great supporters groups that is Louisville City, the Groove Machine. Keep the rhythm going all night long. So some of that rhythm would like to be made within this midfield right now, and see if they could poke out a couple of more chances the way that Miami FC have set themselves up. Notice again, it's more of a stacked duo with Martinez. He had started much deeper at the beginning of the first half, but now he's really the extension of Miami FC so far in the second half. 22 minutes to go. If they stay this way, I wouldn't be surprised to see someone like Chris Cortez come off and take Martinez off. It's the way the game has gone. They haven't been able to get the two of them on the ball a lot.
Nice chop on it there from Ombi, but his cross easily dealt with. McCabe flicking on here for Ombi. Nice ball to find Gomez, squares it. The flick on from Del Piccolo, just trying to drag it on with his back left foot. Couldn't get enough on it to really trouble Caldwell.
Some beautiful football from Louisville City. Brian Ombi cutting it back to the inside. Watch the little pinch right in here. Triangular movements and the back heel. That is Paolo Del Piccolo on the tail end of it. Had Cameron Lancaster as well, but this is a rough ask. The year that Del Piccolo has had on the near post, we've seen him bury these before, and with the noise, might not have heard the shout from his striker.
And it's gone all the way down to Hubbard in the Louisville goal. There's a change coming here for Miami is Adonijah Reed. I think you saw stripped on the sideline. Francois will make way for him as it's out towards Ombi. Baggio with good defending. Craig helping, but it's come for Lancaster. The whistle goes, and it will be a free kick to Miami. Dalglish there shouting that it should be a yellow card against Ombi as well. And here's confirmation of the change. Adonijah Reed, who from now 21 substitute appearances on the year, has 6 goals. Player who was last playing in France with Le Havre in Ligue 2 in France.
Cristiano Francois never really got going, did he? Pretty isolated on the back line in the matchup against Jonathan Gomez, and as Wes Sharpie slid over, kept him really quiet. He touched the ball 15 times tonight, Chris, over the span of 70 minutes. I don't care what the game plan is, that's just being marked out. Beautifully done defensively, and this is one of the changes that pretty predictable. Wonder how long they'll let the Father Time legs of Ariel Martinez progress. He's so important to this squad, but again, in terms of game planning, the way that they build, the combination play, they just need one chance.
Ooh,
that ain't it.
Hubbard with a turn in front of Martinez. Just about got away with it, put Sharpie under some pressure. He dealt with it. Gomez clipped there by the substitute Reed. Speedy Williams coming forward. And Louisville have about gotten away with it.
Oh.
There's a sliding challenge, two-footed there from Da Silva. And it's going to be yellow for the Miami FC midfielder. And Gomez hacked down by Pierre Da Silva.
This is lucky not to be red. This is lucky that he's still on the field right now. Reckless is putting it kind here for Pierre Da Silva. Leaves his feet two-footed, and watch the back end motion as he slices back through. Great movement defensively, Del Piccolo. He's off for me. That's a sending off. That's a straight red. Watch the sweep back through. Scissor-like from Da Silva. You break someone's leg like that. Miami FC lucky that they still have 11.
That is an incredibly heavy challenge. And that scissor motion that comes on that back of the leg, incredibly dangerous. And Gomez will be lucky to might have been seriously injured there, and certainly real concerns from him. He's heading off to Spain pretty soon. He'll want to be fit for his move. And Elton Garcia, conversations with now McCabe, continuing to shake his head.
I love the work here. Watch Del Piccolo. The step in, understands that Jogo's in a bad spot, shields Speedy Williams off, and the intent is there. It's reckless. Ruthless is probably the better word, and it's all about that secondary leg. It's one thing if you want to go to ground and get stuck in and show some brute force, but when you wrap back around on the second one, that left foot coming all the way back across, you're asking for trouble.
But it is just yellow for Pierre Da Silva. He will We'll carry on. No VAR here in USL. If there were, you'd imagine that incident would have been flagged to a video screen.
Well, I can't believe he got up and argued it. Right in the referee's face that it was even questioned at all.
Nice play there between Del Piccolo and Lancaster. Gonzalez now trying to drift through the space. Hook it on here for Bone. Back for Gonzalez, trying to curl to the bottom corner, and it's gone in! Louisville have the breakthrough. It's Jorge Gonzalez who's about squeezed it into the back of the net. And Louisville at long last have the lead.
The belief that is Danny Cruz and his man up top, Jorge Gonzalez, has never wavered. Asked him about the matchup against Birmingham Legion, said, if I need a goal, I know where I can get it off the bench. If it's not Lancaster, who else can it be? The interchange, long ball up over the top. You challenge the space on the inside. Notice the center backs get separated. Del Piccolo slides left. So does Paco Craig. A parting of the ways in the middle. Gonzalez recognizes it, goes to work. Little bounce off of him. Corbin Bone a bit unlucky with his touch. But one man's trash, another man's treasure. Louisville City have their lead.
And it is Gonzalez getting his 4th of the year. The loanee from Portland Timbers had to recover during the season from a torn muscle in his groin. But he's come up with a huge playoff goal. That goal presented by Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. First playoff goal for this 2021 campaign. Louisville be excitedly awaiting Charlotte if they can hang on for the win here. Chapman Page, a loose header. Bone onto it. Omby trying to get their head of Craig. Can only just launch it forward up towards Forbes. Tosh dealing with the danger, and now Miami try and find their response. Forbes. Billy Forbes trying to get the cross away, takes a deflection out for a corner. And Da Silva, fortunate to still be on the pitch, will take this corner. Defenders forward. The height from central midfield in there as well. Da Silva's service, high arcing. Chapman Page wants it, and a foul in the area. Sian McFarland who went down, but it's a free kick to Louisville City.
Chris, go back to the goal and the ball that does come back over the top. Watch the spacing on the back line. The two center backs, Chapman Page and Paco Craig. As Chapman Page knocks the second one, Paco Craig sees Lancaster. He leaves him in the gray area, and then he recognizes that Del Piccolo has spun off. Corbin Bone's understanding that he now has to step through and be that secondary effort is the entire reason why Jorge Gonzalez has the opportunity to finish this off. It's beautiful movement that becomes quite simplistic in nature, but easily could be a Pulitzer Prize from a poetry standpoint for Lou City.
Speedy Williams with a header. Louisville City fans can head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next few minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/LouCityFC. Martinez giving away. Omby. Thought he had Jimenez out wide, but gave it straight to Forbes. We'll be backtracking. Smacking it to a teammate, and free kick given.
What's the response now? Inside quarter hour mark for Miami FC. All night long, Chris, we've discussed where they've been successful. There hasn't been a ton of it. And the way that this team likes to build, whether you push Sian McFarland high, find a way to get combination play between an Ariel Martinez, Speedy Williams, and Pierre Da Silva, that hasn't been the case here tonight. They've got so much speed at the tip of their fingertips right now. Why not a bit more direct? Especially with the legs on the back line that have not changed yet. You don't expect it either. Jogo, Sharpie, Tosh, Jimenez haven't exactly been clear as day at certain points in time. Go at him. Run. Find Forbes. Find Adonijah Reed. See if you can beat him from a speed standpoint instead of the tactful builds.
Double Louisville change coming. And it's Tyler Gibson and Antoine Openo who will enter here for Paulo Del Piccolo. And Jorge Gonzalez, the goal scorer. It's an ovation as he walks off. And the Frenchman and the Knoxville, Tennessee native will enter. There is Openo, who scored the last goal of the regular season for Louisville in a 1-0 away win at Birmingham Legion.
Gonzalez is great tonight. That's some kind of shift you put in. It's easy to look at that front line and you go Brian Ownby, his career year, 11 assists. Of course, Cameron Lancaster, the 20 mark again. That left side has been a rotating piece. It was Antoine Openo in favor. It was Jorge Gonzalez for a bit. They would drop him into the midfield as well. Jimmy McLaughlin had his run, the Kyle Gregg tandem when they dropped into 3, and every single time you kept coming back, it was, what were the expectations for this squad coming out of preseason? And it was that pickup, Gonzalez, in the offseason, coming over from Portland, and the freak injury that he picked up. They were playing a regeneration game of handball that left him out for quite some time. Non-contact injury, had to fly to Philadelphia for surgery. Didn't even know if they were going to get him back this season. Of course, that timeline escalated quite rapidly in favor of Louisville City. And now here we are, 10 minutes to go, and he's got you your lead to head to the next round. Still work to be done.
Heavily contested there as Akinyode went in. Da Silva as well. He's about kept it and popped it on there for Forbes. Tosh getting a nick. Fully clearing their lines there, Louisville, through Gibson. Louisville getting back into their defensive shape as Openo goes out towards McFarland, who's just about gotten beyond him. And it comes off of McFarland last and out for the goal kick. No grains of sand falling through the hourglass. Miami now mere minutes away from elimination. Crowd of just over 9,000 on hand, 9,097, which is a record for a Louisville City playoff opener. Played the Eastern Conference playoffs last year, Louisville did. The limited capacity circumstances.
Well, I'm sure that they're somewhere in their minds looking down the line, hoping they can repave the favor to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. One of only a handful of teams that successfully have been able to take this team down at home. And I say handful because you can count them literally on 2 fingers.
Well, sprayed ball here for Forbes. You can pick it up in the penalty area. Billy Forbes cutting onto his right. Billy Forbes did not calibrate that effort in the manner in which he wanted to. And Chris Cortez will come on here, try and provide the difference, and it will be Da Silva who exits. Fortunate that he didn't exit via a red card earlier in this one, but come off after 82 minutes for the introduction of Cortez. Former Phoenix Rising center forward, scored 20 goals in 2018. A man down in the penalty area for Louisville.
Anyone that nets over 30% of the time within their professional career is doing something right. 56 goals, 19 assists, all competitions. I'll take that. And to your point, that 2018 season is really the vision that Paul Dalglish was hoping for, bringing him in. Just the 1 goal to the 4 appearances, as you mentioned, but 31 in a Phoenix Rising jersey overall, and 80 apps within the USL Championship was part of that transition from Arizona United to Phoenix Rising in 2016, 17, and 18. Did well for him.
It's Jimenez who was slow to get up, and Looks like Pat McMahon being prepared as a sub. He's going to come off at the nearest exit. Referee Elton Garcia just making sure he's at that nearest exit. It also looks like Alexis Suahi will come on. We'll see full confirmation of those two changes in a moment. Jimenez right back on the night. And Suahi will enter, the 26-year-old. Came to France from academy at Le Havre in France. Connection with Adonijah Reed, who also came from that French club that was once managed by Bob Bradley, the U.S. men's national team coach.
I forgot about that. I remember that. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't have, if I was writing the bio, I wouldn't remember. But when you say, this is the conversation we had, right? Before coming on air. One of those things that you read it and
yeah,
I forget to present it, but when you start the conversation, I'm happy to back into it.
Yeah. One of the clubs along Bob Bradley's European journey, playing it or managing at Stabæk in Norway, and then Swansea in the Premier League. Coming back to the U.S. now at LAFC. Martinez. And Baggio. Game certainly has come to a standstill with all the changes and the injury as well. Miami will have to get some rhythm in their game as Martinez tries to clip into the area. Tosh just letting it run there, and Hubbard can fall on it.
You force the issue with the goal, of course, and make Miami FC change. You've brought Ariel Martinez much deeper, and again, they were not able to complete the journey. That is the great build-up play between he and the aforementioned Pierre da Silva. He has just gone off, and now you're looking from creativity in a different manner in an area that they have not been successful in all night long. I still maintain the fact that they've got so much speed at their disposal. Haven't really utilized any of it. Now you do bring in a target man of Chris Cortez, though, and it's that secondary run. You play off of him, push the second one in. This man right here, Speedy Williams, the way that he distributed to almost perfection and delight to these fans for so many years. Where are those balls spraying left and right now, especially that they've dropped into 5. Sean Tosh comes in the middle of the back line. You look at all of the defenders around him. This is an area of pride that Danny Cruz has really taken notice of as the season has gone on. They struggled with changes early. When they changed personnel and formation, that chemistry was disrupted. Not so anymore. For a team that has struggled giving goals up down the stretch, it is not the case when they drop into 5.
Chapman Page getting into it there with Opano, and it's Opano who's the culprit for the foul in the judgment of Elton Garcia, who's not too pleased with the histrionics from the Frenchman. As Kyle Gregg will come in. And he'll enter for Lancaster. The Englishman, a rare game for him in a Louisville shirt without a goal, but he does pick up a yellow card on his way out. This deliberate run towards the sideline rather than going out at the nearest exit. So he'll take a booking.
Not to be his night for hitting the back of the net, but they are not able to break the deadlock if not for his hold-up play. And the ability to play into him. There's so much more off the ball than just those statistics that seem to pop up on everybody's screen.
Gregg and McCabe swapping set-piece responsibilities. Can always be a concern. As Martinez will play it in. Heads go up, and Louisville about dealing with it, swept clear there by Gibson. Here's Billy Forbes. Gregg trying to put Speedy Williams under some pressure, but going to take a bit more than that. On for Forbes. Good touch to get him towards the byline. Good low cross into the near post. It's Tosh who gets it away for a corner. And Forbes will take it short there. That Elijah Reed. Forbes now towards the byline, burst of pace, challenging from Ombi, and he got the ball. And Louisville able to clear for a Miami throw. Shouting coming from both technical areas as Louisville entrenched in their own half. Oh, and it's given away there by McFarland. And Openo can charge forward. He'll carry it into the penalty area. Antoine Openo has Gomez running with him. He'll slide it for Jonathan Gomez, who lost his footing. Back with the Frenchman, Antoine Openo, who gets turned. Shots for a penalty. We play on as Gomez across there for Greg, who tried to win it off of Akinyode, and a free kick given. Shouts from everyone in the ground. Free kicks could have gone both ways. Penalty could have been given. And now a free kick given to Miami, and a yellow will be shown here to Kyle Gregg, who's been in a couple of meaty challenges in the last 60 seconds.
The escapades on the backside of this challenge in the box as well on Lou City. Kyle Gregg not happy, immediately barking at our referee Elton Garcia. The way that they've set themselves up, it's a poor mistake on the backside by Miami FC, and you just sort of wonder for Antoine Openo if he didn't really have his wits about him because he had support. Could have stepped on this, played it back, instead slows up down into the final third and allows Miami FC to get back behind the ball.
Martinez now trying to carry through. It's really just him and Speedy Williams that have stayed back. They've thrown everyone forward. Flicked on here into the path of Baggio, goes for the rear right-footed cross, and you can see why he prefers his left. Away for a goal kick. Now all eyes on the fourth official, and we are into second half stoppage time. A minimum of 5 minutes to be added on in stoppage time presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Greg, header back there, and Sharpie able to keep it in play. Openo will chase down Craig, and Caldwell has to play it outside of his own area. Now Speedy Williams can get Miami going forward. Ariel Martinez. And McFarland with a high arcing cross towards the penalty area. Cortez couldn't take it down. Elijah Reed trying to cause a problem, and he's given away a free kick as well. Right now, Jorge Gonzalez's goal is the difference. Louisville hang on. They take on Charlotte Independence next. And Louisville will take their time over the restart. Get numbers up and allow Hubbard to take the long goal kick. Greg able to get the initial touch off of Chapman Page, but McFarland just putting his laces through it. Cortez trying to challenge Suahi, but able to win it. It's long up towards Reed. Cortez with a couple of challenges into his back. Play on through Openo. It's out for a throw. And the supporters appreciate it.
That's great work as well. He understands where the pressure's coming from, just looking for any sort of window of opportunity with Kyle Gregg as the extension. Now spearheading the only point of attack for Lou City. They need nothing else. 2.5 to get them across the finish line within this matchup. And any way that they can kill it off. You can hear the shouts from the sideline by Danny Cruz. Step on it, keep it. The pushing of the tempo, that button has been removed from this dashboard. And a heck of a performance here within the second half. Leaked a little bit towards the end of the first, but it's been pretty quiet for the chances given up to Miami FC. Full credit to the home squad.
And it will be a throw into Miami as Opano couldn't keep it in play. And Elton Garcia will have a quick word with Kyle Gregg as well. McFarland down the line here for Chapman Page, whose flick on is headed away there by Gibson, but McFarland will take it off the chest and send it forward. Fortunate to find Craig there, as it was just a aimless ball forward. Martinez has stayed behind the formation and try and help create from a deeper position. Up and towards Craig. A couple launching in to win the header off him. 90 seconds remaining in the minimum of 5. Martinez again, high into the air. Craig wins the header. No one in orange there to win the second ball. Opano's clearance not too far away. Speedy Williams tracking it out of the air. Martinez again. Wants to try and take on Ombi. Now he'll get another lofted ball in. Chapman Page taking it off him and going down, but referee unmoved. And now Sharpie emerging to try and lead the break, just sliding it forward. Anywhere will do. Caldwell trotting across to play it. You can hear the anticipation in Lynn Family Stadium. Feel yet another playoff win is coming for the home side. McFarland. High arcing ball. McMahon with the header away.
Well, that's a mistake. He's got to let that run.
Now Forbes. Turning Ombi. Forbes with a cross in. It's away there from Suahi. And Gregg just launching forward. Caldwell again will play almost on the edge of his own half. Martinez hitting the switch. Needed Akinyote to come back and chest it for Speedy Williams. And McFarland, that's a mismeasured cross there. And it's gone straight out of play for a goal kick. Chris Hubbard firing off the crowd, and that is because it's full time. Louisville City progress in the USL Championship playoffs yet again. They've gotten yet another campaign off to a solid start as they've beaten Miami FC by a 0-0. Jorge Gonzalez's goal, enough to provide the difference in this one. It wasn't always pretty, but it proves to be effective for Louisville. 17-4 now all time in the USL Championship playoffs. Yet another win at home on this season and generally in the playoffs. And real excitement from Louisville City players, as that was a clean sheet brought to you by Mortensen Family Dental. A clean game calls for a healthy, clean smile. Chris Hubbard denying Miami FC a chance to score a goal. Their season has come to a conclusion in their first ever USL Championship playoff match. Devin Kerr, final thoughts on this one?
This was a fun one to watch because everything that we thought it was going to be in terms of the midfield matchup really never was. They were removed, both sides, from the run of play, and yet the stars shone bright when the moment mattered most for Louisville City. The ball up over the top finds Lancaster. It's the beautiful movement coming out of the midfield. Little pinch in. That man right there, your man of the match, Jorge Gonzalez, goes to work. They're 17-4-0 all time in the USL Championship playoffs. They're 15-2 at home, and I can promise you this win, it's massive for them. But one of those blemishes was last year against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They've taken one step closer on their revenge plot in 2021.
And Jorge Gonzalez is indeed your player of the match, which is brought to you by Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training. Let's go ahead and get into our save of the game. A good hand save of the game presented by Allstate. Chris Hubbard in the first half.
That's close too. And Hubbard is right there. There's some arguments from Chapman Page and Martinez behind the scenes, but most of the guys keep going, and you don't see them double back, which does make you question how much of it really got there. We took a long, hard look, Chris. Neither you, nor I, nor anybody in the production department, when we paused it, saw the entire ball over the line. Of course, no VAR, but for Lou City, No problems. They're on to the next round.
And they chase this trophy, the USL Championship trophy. First of 4 wins in the books. They've beaten Miami FC by 1-0.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
At Kroger, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best of the best will do. But just because you can't get any higher than perfect 10 produce, that doesn't mean that we won't try. Because Kroger produce isn't just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, we're back.
And ready to hit the road again in this new RAV4.
This is one of the most versatile vehicles on or off the road.
No wonder it's the #1 selling SUV.
You got all kinds of room back here.
Connectivity for all your devices, and it comes in a hybrid that gets 40 mpg.
Now, during Toyota's fall savings, get 1.9 financing for 72 months on a new RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 2 years no-cost maintenance included.
It's pretty easy to see why RAV4 is #1.
Toyota, let's go places.
And you can have a bet on these USL Championship playoffs. Head to Indiana to bet with Twin Spires Sportsbook, presenting sponsor of the 2021 USL playoffs. Use code LOU250 and place a $5 opening wager on any sport to unlock a $250 free bet. Twin Spires Sportsbook, the official sponsor of the USL Championship playoffs. As we can get into now our move of the game, it is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. It has to be the goal that Jorge Gonzalez scores to send Louisville through to the conference semifinals.
Great separation. Paolo Del Piccolo, the head back. Watch all of the attack-minded players. This is what Danny Cruz wants. He wants the options. He doesn't care if it's one specific guy. Yes, you want to find Lancaster, but when you get Lancaster, Del Piccolo, Gonzalez, Bone, all of them to challenge the shape of the opposing squad, 99.9% of the time, that spells success. This time, it does in the form of Jorge Gonzalez. He puts his squad through to the next round.
Just about squeaking it into the bottom corner, as we can now bring you full-time highlights brought to you by Dano's Seasoning. And Louisville would actually be put under pressure early. Ariel Martinez picking off that loose pass from Jimenez, getting ahead of Tosh, just couldn't apply the finish.
We saw this from Oscar Jimenez. We saw it from Niall McCabe. Saw it from Wes Sharpie. Some poor balls, to be honest. Hospital balls that could have easily ended up in a scoreline much different than what ends up as a 1-0 victory for Lou City. Ariel Martinez, very rarely does he not hit the target. That was a good chance early on, and then Lou City responded. This ball whipped back into Cameron Lancaster. Here comes the trailing run of Del Piccolo. There goes Brian Ownby. But Lancaster had one thing in mind, and it was bottom corner the entire way.
And always liable to have a go even from that sort of angle and cause Jeff Caldwell a problem. On the half hour, a chance would come again for Louisville. A mad scramble here as Ownby's effort deflected, and then from Gomez's effort, it all just went a bit crazy.
I understand that this is a secondary one, but notice where the goal comes from, and we're going to show you again in a second. But the goal comes from a pivot on the outside, dropped back into the interior. A lot of opportunities tonight created by Brian Ownby, starting on the right flank with the cut back to the inside. The scouting report says keep him on his left foot, but that goes the other direction here for Miami FC. This almost goes the other direction for Louisville City. As this ball gets sprayed back across, tiny little redirect off Callan Chapman-Page. Does it hit his arm? Does it hit Wes Sharpie's arm? Does it cross the line? The answer by our referee, Elton Garcia, was most emphatically no for any of them. And then Lou City back to work, and here's another one of those giveaways, Chris.
Yeah, Martinez charging again, and Hubbard just about doing enough.
I thought he was too slow here, to be honest. When Martinez rounds the corner, that touch right here.
Yeah.
As he gets that far out, Hubbard seems a bit tentative to come off the 6. Slow to react, but that long outstretched paw of his is able to get on it. And then the boy wonder, that will depart after the end of the season, said he's got work to do with his brothers. Starts the movement. Gonzalez gets involved. Lancaster in there as well. Still for me, the one who doesn't even touch it on the backside of this, Paolo Del Piccolo, and he peels away. Look at all the space on the inside that opens up. Corbin Bone trying to get it back across for himself. Says, here you go, mate. Jorge Gonzalez says, let's go. 1-0 Louisville City. That's how we would end.
And here is your look at the full-time statistics. Miami with just the 2 shots on target, but created a few other chances as well. Caused Louisville some problems throughout the night, but it is Louisville with their 7 shots on target. But most importantly, the 1 goal that sees them through to the Eastern Conference semifinals. There you see the 4 teams, all chalk. Tampa, Birmingham, Charlotte, and now Louisville.
Dear Lord, I said tonight's game was a tactical delight for Lou City in the matchup against Miami FC. Watch what comes to town with the Charlotte Independence and Louisville City. Those 2 teams, ridiculous amount of talent. And then Birmingham Legion, what's the question mark for them? You know, stumbled a little bit against Louisville City, but a tremendous amount of talent themselves. They get an opportunity, a bit more rest, but they got to go on the road to Al Lang. You better believe Junior Flemings is going to be ready against his old club, Bruno Lapa, J.J. Williams, Nico Brett. They've got the arsenal. Can they do it on the road in the Eastern Conference when it matters most?
And what a matchup to look forward to. Louisville taking on Charlotte in the conference semifinals. They'll do it again at Lynn Family Stadium, where tonight Louisville City begin yet another march towards the top of the Eastern Conference with a 1-0 win over Miami FC. Jorge Gonzalez, the hero on the night. From our broadcast partner, Devin, Kerr, and our tremendous USL production crew, my name is Chris Whittingham, signing off as Louisville through to the conference semifinals. They've beaten Miami FC by 1-0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.